Hello, WCW, and welcome to the Week 4 recap of Season 6. With me again this week, it is the True Blue. How you doing, sir?
I am the truest blue, and I'm feeling pretty good. Just finished up a tough game versus Golgotha. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
All right. We're starting off here again this week. Before we start off, I think we had a couple of new competitions kick off this week. You want to talk about those for a second?
Yeah, so a couple of side competitions for everybody new to WCW. This is kind of the bread and butter. What separates us from other leagues is that you're not stuck with one team. You can try out a bunch of different teams in a tournament setting, build them up, bring them into the main competition. So we have a 1350 round-robin tournament. It's probably going to be a 6-person tourney, so it's just going to be 5 weeks. We want to get it done before Season 7 starts. That way people can bring that team into the league. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a 1600 knockout tourney.
Now, when we talk about that, just to clarify a little bit for new people, you say 1350 round-robin?
Yeah.
That means
13-15 round robin.
That means any team that has previously played in the WCW up to team value 1350 can enter that tournament. No custom teams or anything like that, right? This is so you can also enter a TV 1000 brand new standard roster. But if you have a team that's played in any other competition that is not currently in any other competition, they can join that up to team value 1350, and that includes loners, correct?
It just include your team value plus the MNG players.
Okay. So it does not include if you're under 11 players.
Yeah. So like if you're at 9 players and your 2 MNG players, like Mike Kislev, they're at 1250 right now. Mm-hmm. And they would jump up 190 TV if my 2 MNGs were there, so I can't bring them into the league.
Okay.
At least the round robin.
But if you didn't have any MNGs and you've got 9 players and you're on 1200 team value, you can bring your team in.
The loners, probably not. No.
Yeah, I think we've always factored in. You add up what your game time team value will be, and that's where we draw the line, I think.
Yeah, game time TV, and then just to stop people doing what I was doing, which was gaming the system.
Right.
Because one time I scummed my way into a competition way back when, but it's all right.
Good. So we've got a 1350 5-round round robin, you said, and we also have a 1650 8-person KO tournament. Or 1600.
8-person KO. Yeah. Ideally 8-person KO. Nobody has signed up yet. It's in sign up information. But I'm probably going to take my Kislev into that one, and I'm deciding between Wood Elves and Chorfs for the round robin.
I'm thinking about bringing either Rats or Nurgle into the KO tournament. I may play in that one. I'm not 100% sure if what I will play there yet. So thinking about that. So if you're interested in a side comp or just playing a few extra games, definitely think about joining one of these competitions.
Yeah, and I'm looking at you doing this, RK. Your teams have just been destroyed. Continuing on.
All right. So diving into the recap, we've got Nelson last week. First up, we had Orc Me Harder versus Castlevania Rejects, and the Orcs pulled it out 2-1.
No, that was the admin game.
Yep. Oh, that's correct. So yeah, we had a personal issue come up, couldn't be played. That's right, my mistake. So the Orcs received the win. So not too much to talk about there. Any major development on either of those teams from that?
The Orcs got a MVP that got into the level. I know that for a fact.
Well, let's take a look and see what the results of that were.
He got a movement up thrower. Who says Orc throwers are too slow?
Very nice. Interesting. I kind of wonder, do you want the movement up on the thrower? Like, I think they do their job fine at 5 movement. Interesting.
Yeah. I think having a
Not a
movement up thrower is very, very nice. It's probably 6'4" that he rolled, so it wouldn't have considered doubles and all that sort of stuff. I like it.
Yep, fair enough. So second up then, we've got PU2 versus the Bavarian Knights, and we had a 1-1 draw. More draws.
Who knew that Nurgle is good at drawing against teams?
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, that's often a likely result with Nurgle, especially early on in development for the Nurgle teams. They can score if they're able to get some removals or get some position on the pitch, but it's very hard for them to score twice because that second, it often takes them 5 or 6 turns to score at a minimum. Like, you can do it faster, but it's really hard to do it safely faster.
Yeah. When your fastest players are movement 6, it is insanely difficult to score quickly.
Yep.
Like, you need 3 turns to feel comfortable about it, but even that is stretching it. So,
looking at the stats from the game, it looks like the Nurgle, I think, expectedly outblocked the Bavarian Knights, the Bretonians, inflicted 7 KOs and 3 injuries, so their armor dice were going off that game.
Yeah, and it looks like Rusty just did not get any good casualties. They only went to, like, rotters and stuff. That's depressing.
Yep, Bob the Boiler picking up 7 SPP that game.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
All right. MVP to the Nurgle Warrior, though. Let's see.
That's a good one. And there's Goldblood Knights? No, Barovian Knights.
That was the Barovian Knights, yes. The Goldblood Knights.
My dog just farted.
Good stuff. Oh. All right.
Nasty. All right.
Speaking of PU2, anything else to talk about on that game?
I'm just looking at the Barovian Knights, and they're having a very nice development on the Brett team.
Let's take a look. Yep, we've got the much-desired Agi up. Good pickup. The Blitzer that was injured, just an MNG, so he's fine. No big deal there. Everything else, yeah, the wrestle linemen or wrestle blockers. We've got a guard picked up on one of those. Everything's looking good. Only thing I want to see on this team's a dirty player.
Oh, that's just asking for way too much. Yeah, I just want to see them get some more development on their knights. That's really the key to this team. But early on, you can't be too upset with that development at all. And let's move on to the Goldblood Knights versus the Killer Confessions.
All right. So, Goldblood Knights versus the Killer Confessions. Looking at the stats from that game, it looks like the Killer Confessions outblocked and broke a lot of armor, but inflicted 4 KOs and an injury, but didn't really get the job done there. The Goldblood Knights were able to pull it out. Yeah,
and looking at the teams right now, Goldblood Knights, in the one injury, they suffered a minus movement piece on one of their knights. Killer Confessions.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
This team's looking good as well, though. They picked up a Mighty Blow Blitzer, which is a very important pickup. You need one of those. That movement bust is probably getting fired on the 0 SPP as soon as he can cycle it out. Does have the dirty player on this team.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Puke's team, and it's very interesting. He's going heavy on the skeletons.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. That's usually relies more on the zombies, but the skeletons do have that little bit more, a bit of movement, but you sacrifice the durability quite a bit.
Yeah, you sacrifice the durability. You get Thick Skull to kind of help out, but it's still, if you're going to get broken armor, it's stun is going to hurt more than moving only one square on the next turn. I would like to see some more ghouls on this team, that's for sure. But other than that, he's looking like a very good undead team is coming around.
One more ghoul would be nice. Are you a fan of more than 3 ghouls on an undead team?
I think having 4 is fun, just because you can have the ball carrier that you have off the pitch, ideally you'll have like a guard, sidestep, lodge piece, and then you can have a ball sacker too.
I just think when you get up to 4, it starts getting a little bit bloaty for the undead. I think 3 is kind of the sweet spot. Also, you don't really have room to stick them all on the pitch at the same time. So if you have 4 ghouls, 2 whites, and 2 mummies on the pitch, then...
Well, I was saying having 3 ghouls on the pitch because you have your ball carrier off the field because you don't want that thing to die.
Sure. Fair enough.
Yeah. Just a couple of different schools of thought. I know I played a undead coach a while back in CCL, and he just absolutely dominated me with 4 ghouls. So I've always just been a fan of that build.
They are nice to have the mobility for sure.
Yep.
All right. And finally, we had the Bulbous Boys versus Woody Wardancer and Company. The Wood Elves, I think, unsurprisingly coming out with it.
Yeah, and this is new. I see a tree.
We have a tree.
Do you see a tree?
Let's take a look. Where is Woody Wardancer and Company team roster? There is a tree. Standing tall. 11 players on a Wood Elf team. That's always what you want to see.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I love seeing. He only has 1 Wardancer, but he's got a tree. I think mainly because every time we looked at a team and it didn't have a tree, we said something about it.
Yep. Yep.
But I just think it helps out the attrition game so much, where you're able to not have so many 87 on the line. So I really, really like it. He still has a strip ball Wardancer. He's halfway to getting another one. I think this is a team that's building up really, really well. They're playing extremely well. I think they're in the first seed for Nelson Division currently.
Very good. Looking good. So, that said, how are the Goblins looking?
I'm about to check them out.
Let's take a look. The Bulbous Boys, they are very healthy. That is a full roster. Got their secret weapons around, have a break tackle troll. How do you feel about the break tackle troll?
I know some people really like to break tackle. I think having big guys that you really rely on, break tackle isn't terrible, but it's still really risky when you're trying to reposition them.
Yep. Yeah, failing the dodge on the troll is never fun.
Yeah, hitting that one is just depressing to see, but
it's
hard.
Yeah, even though you're making 2+, like it's still, yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing that I know apparently Devulba really, really likes is the Pogor, but I would just get rid of the Pogor and just try to play without it, just because you'll be able to get more of I've lost my train of thought. You'd be able to get more inducements.
Yep. I'm a big fan of picking up as many inducements as you can on the Goblin team.
Yep.
You need those bribes to keep your good pieces on the pitch, and it's just fun to play around with some of the inducements sometimes. I really like the Nuffle Altar on the team. If you can pick that up, like that's as good as a player, really.
Yeah, and I can't, Evan. Welcome to the show.
Yep.
Do you know Evan?
I do not.
All right. Well.
All right. So, I was trying to look over at how do we do for predictions in Nelson. It looks like we had the tie game that both of us predicted Captain Blood, and tie game makes us both wrong. We both predicted Pookie, and were incorrect on that one. And you picked up a point on the Devulba, or excuse me, I picked up a point on the Devulba versus a Velociraptor. So so far on Nelson, I picked up a point.
Wood Elves. Yeah, I saw a Death Spiral Wood Elves and I went Goblins.
Yep. Wood Elves now have a tree and are coming out of the Death Spiral.
Yes. Hi, Sammy. All right. Well, let's continue on to let's take a look at the leaderboard real quick, and then let's take a look into Dillinger.
All right.
So,
don't forget about next week as well. We have not predicted yet for next week.
Oh yeah,
Do you want to predict first or leaderboard?
Oh, let's go leaderboard.
Looking at the leaderboard, a Velociraptor 310 standing on top of the standings.
Yeah, 3 games to go. He's looking very, very good to get into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And then everybody else, it seems like they're fighting for the 2nd seed.
With all the draws we've had in this division, there's definitely the ability for many of these teams to still pull it out. So Tetsuya, Ultra. Ultra is, I always miss these names. Crazy. So yeah, Grazy and Tetsuya definitely both are still in it. I'll need to take a look and see if either of these 2 teams play the Wood Elves, the A Velociraptors, Woody Ward Answering Company. If they do, those will be big games to decide this division.
Oh yeah.
Looking at that real quick. So yes, the Castlevania Rejects play Woody Ward Answering Company next, and Killer Confessions play them the week after, and then finally the Barovian Knights play them. So that said,
this should be fun. So yeah, I just can't wait to see the type of development that these guys can get.
All right, let's get into some predictions for Nelson for this week. First up, we've got Orc Me Harder versus the Goldblood Knights. What do you think here?
Goldblood Knights. Those are Grazies that are a bit beat down, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, looking at the Goldblood Knights, they did take the movement busted blitzer, so they're on 3 blitzers, but still on. They're on 11 players, counting the movement busted blitzer, so they'll have 1 loner next game. They have a dodge blitzer, a mighty blow blitzer, and a dirty player. And it's 1090 versus Orc Me Harder is 1090 as well, or excuse me, 1060 versus 1090, or no, 1090 versus 1090, right? Yeah. The Orcs, however, are a full 11. The only skill they've picked up so far is the movement up thrower. So we basically have a rookie-ish Orc squad versus a Bretonian team that is short a blitzer and is basically giving up no inducements. They're going to give up 40k in inducements to the Orcs.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I got to just go with Crychair here.
Okay, all right. I think I'm going to go with Grazy on this one.
Ooh. You're a bit crazy for Grazy.
Going crazy for Grazy. I think the Goldblood Knights can pull this one out.
All right. I think it's going to be a close game. It's if the 87 holds. So that way, the man advantage isn't quite as prevalent.
My prediction is based mainly on 1-9s. I think the Orcs have to avoid rolling some 1-9s to take this game. And the Goldblood Knights also have that Mighty Blow Blitzer and the Dirty Player, so they have the ability to possibly do some targeted removal. So if they're able to pull off some targeted removal and the Orcs roll a couple of key 1-9s, I think they have the tools to take it down.
Yeah, and I'm betting on the Orcs just 89 holding, all that sort of fun stuff.
Orc Me Harder is going to orc them harder is your bet.
Yep.
Next up, we've got DeBulba's Boys versus PU2, some Goblins versus Necros. So we did just take a look at DeBulba's Boys, PU2, not Necros, Nurgle. So Rusty's Nurgle team, currently we have a pending skill on the roster. Everyone pick your skills. We want to know on the recap what your skills are. But I'm assuming this is... I'm assuming Bob the Boiler is probably going to be a dirty player. Like, what else do you pick? Maybe something else. Maybe wrestle, kick, block.
I think there's a very strong argument to get block right now, since that would be your only skill on this team.
That's fair. Rotters are dirty player fired in my book. That's just the big Chuck line of thought on Rotters.
Yeah, there's early on, Nurgle, you are starving for skills. I would take block if it is me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But,
so,
what are you thinking of the game?
So we have basically an unskilled Nurgle team versus a big full roster of goblins. I think looking at this matchup specifically, I'm kind of with you on taking block. I think there's also an argument for taking tackle if you're just taking a skill for just this game.
I think you take block and you're okay with it, just because block, if he levels up quickly and he gets a double, works very well with guard.
Yep. So I will say, though, unskilled Nurgle is probably one of the matchups that like a Goblin team like this is looking forward to. It's going to be hard for the Nurgle team to score. You can really bank on doing some Goblin bullshit in this type of matchup. Unskilled Goblins perform their job just fine. Unskilled Nurgle have a hard time doing just whatever have a hard time doing anything. We will be seeing hopefully lots of 3-die blocks going down on these gobos. The strength 4, you just need 1 assist to make a 3-die block on a goblin. So it really depends on how many pals we can see from some 3-die blocks.
Yeah, and I keep on doing this every single week, and I keep on telling myself not to. I'm going with the Bulba. I'm going with the goblins.
I really want to go with the goblins, but I'm gonna spoiler pick again this week, and I'm gonna take the Nurgle.
Oh man!
All right. Next up, Woody Wardancer and Company versus the Castlevania Rejects. This is a big game. This affects the standings quite a bit. So, Woody Wardancer and Company, we did look at those guys just a moment ago. 12-10. They're on 11 players, so they've got a guard lineman, they've got dodge, they've got kick. They only have 1 Wardancer, but it's a strip ball Wardancer. They've got blodge on a catcher, so they're starting to see all that good development to do the Wood Elf nonsense. Only on 2 team rerolls still, so a little light in the reroll category.
That's fine. And looking at Tetsuya's team, his team has Shaft coming back, the Agi 4 Sure Hands piece.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, not having blodge on the Agi 4 piece looks really nice in this matchup.
Yep. And we do see 13 players here, so a few extra bodies. Do have a nickel
Fouls incoming.
Yeah, so what do you think about the matchup?
I think that this is going to be a fun matchup. Let me take a look at Velociraptor again. Tell me what you think while I take a look at them.
We still only have 1 Flesh Golem. The werewolves are still lacking in development, unfortunately. Have not been able to get the Kaz, or I think we may have had a couple of these die at some point, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. So, at low amounts of skill, I think the Wood Elves have an edge because they're just better out of the box. They're faster. The werewolves are very quick, but the rest of the team is not. So then you just have, werewolves with no block versus, a Wardancer. Or, the catcher, which they get a free 2-die block on, but it's a blodge catcher. They're going to have a real hard time knocking that thing down. So I really think I would lean towards the Wood Elves unless some early block dice just really go in Tetsuya's favor. And no inducements going down in this match whatsoever. There's a 10K difference. And I think neither team having that much money, neither team really having the money to scum any wizard or anything like that. So I kind of think that a Velociraptor has an edge in this matchup.
I would agree. I think I'm going to go Velociraptor.
Yeah, I don't think I can spoiler pick on this one. I think I have to go with a Velociraptor as well.
All right. Velociraptor.
It's just so hard to deal with those Wood Elves until you have some tackle or something to help get the job done.
Only having a couple block is really rough. Val's coming, and that will be nice, but I just think the Wood Elves, they just have just enough of a team to work it out.
Yep. They have Wood Elves start with all the tools they need. So next up we have the Barovian Knights versus Killer Confessions. Another very close TV matchup. This is Pookie Pookie's Undead, which has a Strength Up White, a Guard Mummy. They are missing a Blodge Ghoul for this game. Is that just an MNG? Yeah, just an MNG. And a full squad of Fouling Skeletons and a kick player versus the Barovian Knights, which are... They are picking up a loner this week, which is going to put them at 1100 TV when they get that extra lineman. So, again, virtually no difference and no money, so no inducements going down for either of these teams. What do you think?
I think that Puke is going to win. Just looking at it, he has the strength advantage, he has the mighty blow advantage, he has 7. The skill advantage.
I don't know about skill advantage. The wrestles and the wrestle block that they start with on the Barovian Knights gives them a bit of leeway on the skill advantage.
Well, I'm just thinking, sure hands dodge, that's nice. A kick piece is really nice to help set up a defense if you use it correctly. And then the fouling pieces. I just like Puke in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I think I'll go. I will pick spoiler on this one, Barovian Knights. I think it could go either way. I think this matchup's too tight to call. The strength advantage is great, but the Barovian Knights do have plenty of block and wrestle over there that can help them engineer something to happen. A good 1-9 here, or a good wrestle play on the Blodger. So yeah, I'll take the Barovian Knights on that one. All right, and I think that ends the predictions. I think we're good on Nelson.
Yep.
So moving over to Dillinger. So first up on Dillinger Week 4, we had Who Wants a Woody versus the Sithral Wardens. This was a 3-1 Wood Elf game, so it did go into shootout mode, it sounds like, on this one.
Did go into shootout mode, and Squints, thanks for making me not look like an idiot. I appreciate it, bud.
Both loners picking up the MVPs. That's a little unfortunate.
I wonder if Squints bought his because it got to 7 SPP. Let's take a quick look.
Wow, Squints just knocking players out. 5 injuries, 3 KOs inflicted off of 23 blocks. That is a hellacious armor break ratio.
Yeah, and Squints has 3 levels pending. He did buy the loner that leveled, so
that's a big pickup for that team. That's exactly what he needs. Just more dudes.
More dudes and more dodge.
Yep. So this, the Snooky U-turn Singleton, you think we'll see a Blodge pickup there? Have another Blodge player on the roster?
Blodgeraj. Wrestle wouldn't be a bad choice at all.
I think I like Wrestle better now that you said that. Yeah, so probably Wrestle there, Dodge on Elveril, assuming no special rolls on any of these players. Of course, like, if anyone rolls doubles, then they're picking up Guard or something. I would suspect Guard, but I guess there's probably arguments for other skills as well. Maybe even my.
On what piece?
Huh?
On what piece?
On any of these pieces that are pending levels. I'm just saying doubles can kind of change it up.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you were saying that he had doubles. I'm just like, what? Yeah.
No, we have no idea.
Yeah, he already has a Mighty Blow piece. If he gets anything, it's Guard, in my opinion.
That's kind of what I guess as well, but I think there's arguments for other skills on a double, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. So this team is recovering nicely. They will probably take their place in Capone next season, I would guess.
They are very much on the upswing, unless something completely disastrous happens again, because he is going to be going into playoffs. It's going to be interesting, for sure.
Calling the playoffs already.
It's 4-0-0.
Yeah, we have another 4-0-0 in the division, so...
Yeah, well, two teams make it, so...
Fair enough.
It's looking pretty good.
So... Looks like they're on this matchup though. Just to throw it out there, it does look like Squints just straight up outbashed Doomer in this game. Like he just broke 10 armor breaks out of 23 blocks. He was 50% of the time breaking armor.
Yeah, and hold on, let me take a look at something because we were having an argument about this last week. Tree Fitty, you got 2 POWs. 2 blocks. Alright, what did you do with those 2 POWs, Tree Fitty? I wish you'd show me. Wait, SPP. Tree Fitty got a casualty. He did his part.
Okay. Yep. He did. He did indeed. Alright.
Alright.
Next up, we have the Meats versus the Hellspawn Violators in the Battle of the
household.
Battle of the household. Yeah, and it looks like we had more armor breaks for the Lizards than we did for the Chorfs. 3 KOs and 2 injuries inflicted by We Have the Meats. 42 successful blocks versus 26, so the Hellspawn Violators getting way outblocked. But this was a team that was, I believe the Hellspawn Violators had taken a beating. Let's take a look at them real quick. Yeah, they're down to 990 team value, only 1 bull, and that bull is niggled. Still alive though, still alive.
Oh my gosh, he's just 10k short of getting it.
Yep.
Feels bad, man.
I think that is with a good roll though, because if I remember correctly, I think he was on 60k gold last week, so I think he's picked up a good amount of gold, but just on the edge of picking up the second bull again, and then we need 130k more to fire and replace this one. And we still are not even talking about picking up the 6th Chorf, which I kind of am in the camp of just pick up the 6th Chorf right now.
There's a couple of different thoughts about it. Having the bulls, those are key to your long-term development. I think having really good bulls, but so is the Chorfs. Everything's key on that team. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Lizards.
you really do need all your players, so I think you just buy what you can afford and then worry about picking up more stuff as it goes. But that said, there's an argument for getting that bull as well and getting those things going. Looking at the Lizards, I don't see any new development here. We did pick up a pork butt with block, which I think was before this game. So no real losses and some more SPP scattered about. We have a lot of Saurus who are on 4. We have 2 Saurus on 4, 2 Saurus on 2. So we have some Saurus that are pending level up. Stew Meat is just a touchdown away from getting its 2nd level. So
Stew Meat, even without block, has just been shredding people.
Absolutely just wrecking house with 7 injuries inflicted and 2 KOs. That guy is doing work.
Yeah. 15 casualties inflicted. But when Lizards work like this early on, they work really well.
Absolutely. So next up, we have a matchup that I can talk about at length a little bit here, and actually already have talked about at length with Lord Commander. We've done some reviews and discussion about this game. My team, Grin and Barrett versus the Women of War. Women of War came out with a 1-0 victory. A little bit of an upset, but this was a tough matchup. The Amazons...
I don't think it's an upset. I think it was the way it's supposed to go, 100%.
I agree with that, but let me get into the details, and then you can revise your statement if you would like. It is, I think, a matchup that is favored for the Amazons. They should win this game. That said, I was able to hold to a 0-0 at the first half when it was the Amazons received first half. So they did not score on their drive. And we still had 10 or 11 players at that point. I think I had 1 KO, so I think I was on 10 players. And I think we knocked out one of the Amazons, so I think we were like, it was like 10 on 10 Blood Bowl at the half. Not only that, we had on my turn 7, we got the ball and got away into a scoring position with our runner, but I wasn't able to screen anything off. A lineman Amazon was able to dodge away and get the knockdown on the carrier on a dodge, go for it play. So got the knockdown, got the ball away. We weren't able to score. Okay, still a good result for me. 0-0 at the half is great. Then on my half, we had a kick that was like 2 squares off of the line, followed by a blitz. And the Amazons got under the ball, caught it, and proceeded to stall for 8 turns and win. So from my perspective, it was a little bit of an upset, because without that blitz, I think we could score early and
make it a draw.
Make it either a draw or even delay some more and make it a win. We were really able to. I was able to do a lot of harassment on the defense. My 3+ leaps were working left and right. I guess I should mention the reason we were able to make that first half defense successful is I had a turn 1 sack on the ball with a 1-die pow on a leap into the cage. Fun stuff. So the ball bounced around on the line of scrimmage for the first 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got lucky in the first half, unlucky in the second half was my read on that.
So you had average luck overall. Got it.
Yeah, it was average luck overall. But if my luck had not turned south, and the KOs fired in the second half, and a couple of injuries. I had 2 dead linemen that game. So
that is a rough one.
It is a rough one, but still well played game, and I would have liked to get the draw out of it, but oh well.
Yeah. I just think that's Blood Bowl. I would have always picked LC to win that game. Amazons versus Kislev.
Fair enough. I mean, they are the favorite. I think they are the favored team in the matchup. But I definitely gave them a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Firstborn of Arda versus the Weekend Times crew. 3-1 for the Firstborn of Arda.
And he's just dominating the season. Valk, if you're here, say hello. High Elves didn't die. Moxie spoke up first.
Yep. High Elves did not die. 10 armor breaks. Nothing died. It looks like with 10 armor breaks, we only saw 3 KOs. That's a little below average, isn't it?
Let's take a look. Holy crap. Valk did not fail dodges at all. 2 failed dodges out of 36 attempts.
Let's see. That gives him a 94 dodge rate. That's a little bit high. A little bit high. About 10% higher than it should be.
Yeah. And then armor-wise, it broke about as much as you expect 88 to break. But it just didn't really accumulate to anything crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The injury dice went very well.
Yeah. There's some 3+ dodges in there too. Well, I'll say this every single time. When your dice rules work, you're a hard team to beat. Doesn't matter what team you're playing.
I think that's universal. Whenever you do what you want to do and don't fail, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, you're just gonna be all right.
Yep. All right. Anything else to talk about on that matchup? I did not see hardly any of the matchups this week, so I don't have too much detail to chime in on.
I don't either. They're both in chat, so 6 or so 3+s didn't fail. Oh man, Moxie, were you just getting tilted the entire time?
Wow, the elves just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
All right, diving in and taking a look. I think we did leaderboard and then predictions.
Yeah.
So looking at the leaderboard, Squints and Valk sitting at the top of the leaderboard, both 400. Followed
Both
by
400.
Yep, both 400. So 2 undefeated teams sitting at the top. That will not last for the whole season, though, because at some point these guys are going to run right into each other in an elf-off.
Yeah, they're going to run right into each other. And interesting, LC coming in clutch.
Yep.
Currently taking that 3rd spot, which I think might be good enough for the playoffs right now, as it stands today.
Right. Very good. Yeah. 2-1-1 record, very respectable record. Amazon's holding it together. And I think we didn't look too much at development. I think that team is developing pretty nicely. 11-10 Amazons. We've picked up 3 guard players and an additional blodge player. I think some people have mentioned they would like to see some Mighty Blow mixed in. I think the next level up definitely needs to be Mighty Blow, just to have that capability on the team, to have someone who can throw your punches for you and maybe skill up a little bit faster. But that amount of guard is that's a good amount of guard for Amazon, so they're going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with anyone and take their punches.
Yeah, I am definitely of the camp that he needs Mighty Blow.
Yep.
You need to get a killer going. You get Mighty Blow, you get piling on, then you get tackle on that piece, and you just call it a day.
In that order. Sounds good to me. So I would try and feed Jessica Jones a touchdown, get Mighty Blow, and start the pain train.
The pain train. Trademark, by the way. Just kidding.
All right. So, yeah. Duberman hanging in there, 202. Yeah. So, we have the Meats has already played a game. Spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's go ahead and take a look forward to Week 5. First up, we've got Who Wants a Woody versus the Hellspawn Violators. This is Squints versus the poor, beat-up Chorf team. What do you got on this one?
Squints.
No details. Squints running away with it.
Well, Squints has a agility 4 war dancer that has strip ball against a team that doesn't have any sure hands.
Yep.
Squints.
Yep. I don't think I can counterpick you on this one. Squints has a distinct advantage, and the poor Chorf team just has not been able to get its has not been able to recover from the beating that Valk gave them game 1.
Yeah, Valk has absolutely ruined RK's season.
Ruined the whole season, Valk. How dare you? Hope you feel bad. No. So let's see here. Next up we've got the Sithral Wardens versus the Women of War. So the Sithral Wardens, that is Duberman, versus Lord Commander's Amazons. What do you think about this one?
There's most likely... Hold on.
Duberman's team has taken a beating.
5 times... that's 1,100. It's not even in wizard range. So I'm going to have to go LC.
Yep. I kind of agree. And I think if we... Yeah, I think LC's just going to be able to run his bash game and do what he wants to do. The war dancers are good, and if they overperform, he can still, wood elves are good. I mean, they just are. You've got 2 war dancers, you've got the tools you need to do to steal a game. But I think I agree on that one as well. I'm gonna give it to the Women of War.
All right. And then I already predicted this one because this is my lock of the week where I don't see any other outcome. Valk beating Big Chuck.
How dare you? How dare you? I will absolutely counterpick on this one. Valk's going down. There's no way that High Elves are going to beat me. Any commentary on that?
Yeah, his kick piece is going to get the ball in the perfect spot for a blitz, and you're going to lose to a blitz 2 weeks in a row.
So
Suck it.
Here's what's going to happen is the armor breaks are going to work. The bear is going to get 7 casualties, and and we're going to run away like 3-0. I think that's my prediction.
Valkyrie, just shut this guy up.
No, the High Elves definitely have a good shot at the game. It's, early Kislev. It's Kislev. What do you want? We're going to make a fun game of it. So I'm going to try my best to do some more Kislev nonsense. I will pick myself just because I think I've learned from my mistakes. I'm always going to bet on myself going forward.
Yeah. All right. That's it for Dillinger.
That is it for Dillinger. Up to the big leagues.
Up to the Capone.
So, looking at last week, we had Aerial Assault versus the Scourge of Saltspire, and the Rats pulled it out 2-1. A little bit of rat bullshit going on here, I think.
Yeah, and oh man, that killer just loves hogging MVPs. Spoiler alert for next week.
Uh-oh. MVP killer. Has he... Yeah, he already... So he's just trucking along towards his 176. He's had the 76 for a while, which was pro.
Yeah.
But not a very bloody game.
Take a look at it.
Looks like they just are running their normal game. How is the Scourge of Saltspire looking? Because they were beat up, but I'm seeing 1580, so it's looking like they're... We've got an Agi 5 gutter runner.
Fuck, that's the one that leveled today.
So
I did not have to deal with that, luckily.
That is scary. That is very scary. Okay, so
I killed a gutter runner too.
You killed a gutter runner,
bullshit.
And he leveled up and got an Agi 5 gutter runner. All right. So this team's looking better. Like, he's got a bench now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So even on 12 players for the next game. After that, this armor busted lineman's fired, right? Like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So still on 12 players for the next game. So a healthy Skaven team's a scary Skaven team. Still has the big hand guy and now has an Agi 5 gutter runner. Probably looking for Strike Beastmaster here to pick up a movement and become a one-turner, and then you've got just the full threat back in action again. So, how is Aerial Assault hanging in there? Let's take a look at that team. I'm always looking to see how these teams are, any damage done. It looks like we did have a MNG picked up on Rad, so his Dauntless Leaping Blitzer is going to miss his next game. Dauntless Leaping Pro Blitzer with tackle. Yeah, other than that, team's looking healthy.
Yeah, as healthy as you can look as pro elves.
Yeah. I mean, that team has always had injuries all over it, but they just do whatever they want anyways.
Yeah, and it was I just can't wait to see what he can do. S Hunter was waiting for us to bash on his pro elves again, but all I can say is that I tried really hard and I couldn't break a single thing that I blocked versus you, S Hunter.
Yep.
It was mainly my fouls. So seeing someone block against you and them have success, it was fun.
So I guess moving on to the next game, the Maritime Marinated Meat versus Experiments Gone Wrong. The Underworld pulling it out.
Oh, this game was so frustrating for me. Oh, man.
Well, how'd it go down?
Alright, so it started off well. I killed this troll, which was a big part of my game plan, because a troll with tentacles can ruin certain plays, and strength 5, just trying to get rid of the strength advantage.
So before you go too deep, I just want to point out there were 2 kills inflicted this game. I believe they were both turn 1 kills, weren't they?
3 kills.
Stats only say 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So continuing on, so his first turn, without even piling on, he kills a Nurgle warrior, no regen.
Yep.
we do our thing at second turn, and nothing really breaks. And then his second turn, he moves everything. So he doesn't even have a shot on the ball at this point. Then he does an attrition fireball. Knocks every single person down. KOs my ball carrier. Kills my strength 4 killer that had claw palm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Goblin, you did blow up my team. You nuked it.
Yep.
You nuked it. Yeah, and then I had a chance to score turn 8. I got tripwired.
Yep.
So
the classic turn 8 tripwire, something you're very familiar with.
oh my gosh, I was so frustrated with that, and then I won't spoil any more stuff, but yeah.
Yep.
It was just a rough game, and then he just did some bullshit play. It wasn't really bullshit, but second half it went from me not really breaking any armor to me not powing them at all, and it all worked out for Goblin Marine.
Yep, and I believe that picked up a point for me on that one. Just want to point that out too. So not only did you lose the game on your team, get your team blown up, but you also lost a prediction. Just rub the salt in the wound.
Well, I got it back.
Yep, you did. You got it back. Next up, we had Team Happy Orcs versus Ender Shadow, and Lockrest picked it up 2-0, which we both predicted that. Not the 2-0, but we both predicted Lockrest would take this one.
Yeah, Lockrest just is a good coach, has a good team.
Yep.
I don't think there's much more to say besides that.
Dead even on blocks. Looks like the armor break went a little bit in the favor of the Orcs, but not too much.
I think he needs to replace that Black Orc. That's the one standout thing.
Let's take a look at Team Happy Orcs. They are right there, 14-20 Orcs, finally developing along. This team has been in the big league division for 2 seasons now and started as a TV 1000 team and has just trucked along nicely.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. We probably want to see the movement busted Black Orc replaced before he soaks up some SPP. But other than that, 8, 9, 10, 11, on 11 players, 11 healthy players. We now have block on most of the team, so all the 1 and 9s that you typically have to deal with as a starting team are eliminated. We've got some tackle Mighty Blow, a couple of blodge pieces. It's looking nice. And
it is very nice.
How is Ender Shadow holding up? I believe this team has taken just an absolute beating this season.
Yeah, it was the last good game I had.
He's back on the full squad, so he's on 11 healthy players, but only 2 skilled Saurus and 1 skilled Skink. So this team has just taken a ton of attrition, I think.
Oh, yeah. And he picked up break tackle on this Croxagore. That is a very striker OD thing. Watch out for the Crocs blitzing out and trying to get a pow on your blodger. Well, because he will do it.
Break tackle, stand firm, guard is just a great combination. I know Striker likes his crazy blitzes, but even without that, I'm a big fan of this on the Croxagore. I know breaking tackle on a big guy is not great, but if you have that one turn where you need to get your Crocs into a key position, and then once he gets there, the stand firm and the guard, like, that is such a disruptive piece. Getting it into the prehensile tail, never, it's a fake skill. It doesn't work because no one ever remembers it. But
I remember it, and that's why it works against me.
I've seen so many dodges away from prehensile tail, but that aside, like, this is just a very dynamic piece. I like the break tackle on the Croxagore, especially. I mean, you've already picked up guard and stand firm, which, unless you roll doubles, what else are you taking?
Yeah. I like it. It's just a very striker OD pick.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, he may use it a bit more aggressively than some others.
Everybody else would.
But it's still a good pickup. Yeah, so hopefully that team will continue to recover. I'm not sure how the rest of his season plays out. Just hoping he doesn't take too many more horrible losses, because that's just... It's no fun to have a team get obliterated completely.
It's okay.
It's okay. Oh,
it's lizards.
It's okay.
It's lizards.
Finally, we have the Bubonic Blighthawks versus Boba Bounty Hunters, and we have a 0-0 draw.
Yeah. Let's see. A Pestigore got MVP and leveled, and a Beastman got an MVP. He didn't do anything else. I thought Boba would win this game just because he had all the skills, but nothing seemed to work for him.
Yep, that seems to be what happened there. That's just a game of not too much happened. Looks like neither side was really able to get the game plan accomplished.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the teams real quick. Boba, I'm mainly looking at his team.
Looking at Boba's team, he's on 1490. He's on a healthy 11 players. All the Warriors except for one have block. We've got a lot of block spread across the team. I mean, this team doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. Got some
it does not.
Blue.
I really like the team, and I'm mainly paying attention to it for one specific reason, which we'll get to in a second.
All right. Looking at Mateo's team, his team's actually a little bit more interesting. The Strength Up Nurgle Warrior is a great piece. Just lacking some of the other skills. Why what?
Dodge. Why?
You roll doubles. What else do you take? I can understand it.
You don't take anything. I think you take block or you take tentacles at that point.
As a strength 5 piece, if you put blodge on a strength 5er, the thing just never goes down. I can see the logic there.
I see the logic, but it's just never gonna level to 31 unless you get lucky MVPs.
It will. That's the long game. That's just the long game plan. I can support it. That just becomes,
I will not support that.
That just becomes a hell of a roadblock piece.
Oh man! All right, that is a piece I did not expect to see today. Chat, what do you guys think? Goblin Marine. Ooh, what game are you tonight, Goblin Marine? Game 1 or Game 2? Are you playing at 7 Mountain Time or 8:30 Mountain Time? Probably 7.
Striker playing the claws. No good. No good for Striker.
Yeah.
All right. And that takes us to the leaderboard, I believe. So looking at the leaderboard, Lockrest dominating the Capone division, undefeated. I think I threw out there at the beginning of the season that Lockrest was one of my picks to take the division, and I'm happy to say he's proven me right.
He has a couple of games that he could fall, though.
He does.
This next big of the schedule is very, very important for him.
He's a game up on the schedule right now. So even losing a game, he's going to make playoffs. He may not take the division, but I think he's almost a lock for playoffs at this point.
Yeah. And one thing I want to point out as of right now, looking at the leaderboard, is depending on how the points set up, the wildcard team would come from Capone.
Yep. That's it. That is... What? Are you sure?
Well, the best team from Dillinger's 2-1-1 as well.
Okay.
So depending on how the points shaked up, I don't know exactly how they'd go, but right now it's looking like Capone.
Interesting. Well, we still have three weeks of games to play before we get there, so it's still a lot of time for that to change.
Yeah.
So looking forward to week 5 for Capone. It looks like you've already played your game versus Golgothan to a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, it was a 1-9 failure this on turn 8.
Could not get the. Did you need a push?
It was a. He had me decently pinned. I could have played it better to make it so that way I did not have to do that. But to do the dodge, but man, it just did not work.
All right. Well,
and he almost scored on turn 8 just because of that. Did a 5+ dodge. And
I'm
didn't
surprised
use
to see a
dodge.
game where you did not, where the Scourge of Saltspire did not put some points on the board. That's an impressive defense, if nothing else.
Yeah, I worked out on turn 8 just because I set up everything as a. I tried to pin in. It was one of the few times that my Nurgle, my Beast of Nurgle, really stupided, but I tried to get the tentacles on that piece just because I knew if I failed anything, I wanted it to just work out that way.
Just to answer your question, Valk, yes, it is the top 3 from Capone who make it into the playoffs.
It could be a 4th, though, because of the wild card.
Yep, there is one wild card spot that goes to the best player who did not make the playoffs from any division.
Yep.
All right, well, jump into our predictions for Capone. We have 3 games to predict here. First up, Aerial Assault versus the Bubonic Blighthawks. I believe that's Mateo versus S. Hunter. What do you think about this one? Let's taking a look at the teams. We got 1440. Are they on a healthy 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, healthy 11. So we have 1440 Elven Union versus 1420 Nurgle, who are also... No, they're picking up a couple of Loner Rotters. So that is 80k. That puts them on 1500. So that means we have basically a babe for the Elven Union and 100k in the bank. So it could be a Scum Twizzard.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be pretty much a S. Hunter win. I just think his players are too good. He ignores tentacles because it doesn't exist against him. I believe he also ignores Disturbing Presence because it doesn't exist against him.
I do know that Prehensile Tail doesn't exist against him for a fact, but I don't know about the others.
Yeah, just no extra skill that's supposed to stop people. It does not stop S. Hunter. The only thing that stops him is the floor and fouls. That's the only thing that stops him.
That has been my experience. The only time I've been able to stop him from scoring is whenever I just break every scoring threat.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to pick S. Hunter. Just because I don't think Matt has the tools to deal with that team.
Yeah,
if it had block instead of dodge, I might consider the Strength 5 piece to be an X factor.
Well, with no tackle on this team, I think you're hard-pressed to break the pieces you need to break. So I think I'm going to go with S. Hunter as well on this one. Just the no tackle, and he's just going to be able to dodge wherever he wants. Agi 5, leap, wrestle, probably going to do some nonsense at some point. Yeah, so I think we're both on the S. Hunter page for that one. Next up, I don't even think I'll have to announce my pick on this one, but we've got Boba's Bounty Hunters versus Team Happy Orcs, Lockrest. What do you think?
So you're going to go Lockrest.
Yep.
I'm thinking.
Yep.
All right.
Even though I think Boba's team should have the edge in the matchup, I'm still going Lockrest.
Yeah, I agree with you. Lockrest, as a coach, very, very talented. I think he's one of the better coaches that Windy City has to offer. But I'm going with Boba just because of this. I'm playing the Lockrest next week, and I need Lockrest's team to kind of die.
Yep.
Because I don't have Claw anymore.
So Boss K and or Space Dandy are your only hopes for that going off, right? You need these Claw players to put in all the work.
Yeah, they need to put in a shift and a half. So I'm going to go with Boba mainly because I need to go with Boba.
So Boba's 1490, and he is on a solid 11. Yes, and Lockrest is also on a solid 11, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it is 1420 versus 1420. So, oh no, excuse me, 1490. So 70k for Lockrest. That probably means a babe in his pocket. Yeah, I think Team Happy Orcs has got that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. That's for sure.
Speaking of interesting ones, I think the next one is going to be pretty interesting. Ender's Shadow versus the Maritime Marinated Meat. Go ahead.
So for as much as he was talking about what happens if his team dies, he killed my team, and he's back and ready to kill another 89 team. I think Goblin Marine has got this one. He has just the best thrower or Skaven runner that you can get on Underworld.
Yep, he has. In my opinion, he has a great player there. Picked up dodge since I think the last time I've looked at him, which is a good pickup. No.
It's had it. That's why I think that it needs to go into Nuffle's hit list. It is too good of a thrower.
Yeah, for sure. And the killer is an amazing killer. This thing is on the hit list, isn't it?
Yes, this is on the hit list.
Yes. So the killer, as long as this is alive and working as he has worked, Ender Shadow's in trouble. That said, we do have 2 Mighty Blow block sources. If these guys can knock down some goblins and break some stuff...
It doesn't happen. I can speak from experience.
Well, if it does happen, for once, finally, then maybe he can claw a win out of this one. But that said, Goblin Marine knows what he's doing with Underworld. I think as long as he's got that killer and that thrower, he's got this matchup.
Yeah, it's killer thrower, and I think the underrated piece in this matchup is the lineman Schneed Venom, where it's horns, wrestle, tackle. All he needs an assist is to get 3 die on a skink and possibly sack the ball.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be Goblin Marine 2-0. I'll even call the score here.
Calling the score 2-0. Could be. I would expect more like a 2-1, but we shall see. All right.
So
that's all the
you're
predictions.
Going with Goblin Marine then.
Yeah, I'm going with Goblin Marine on that one as well. But I will. If we're predicting scores, I would give it a 2-1. I think Ender Shadow will be able to squeak out a touchdown in there.
Yep, and then. Before we head out, just a quick reminder, there is the 1350 round robin tournament and the 1600 KO tournament that we are running. We're trying to get these tournaments done before Season 7 kicks off in a couple of weeks. So...
Get your sign-ups in.
Get your sign-ups in, get some extra development, and who knows, maybe you can build a team like I did, because both my teams have heavily relied on the side competitions to get to where they are. My Necro team was built on side competitions before the main league. My Nurgle, they played 1 season in the main league, then was built up in the side competitions as well. So it's what I've used, and I really vouch for it.
The Lizards that I played for many seasons also came from 3 back-to-back or three-peat wins on KO tournaments. I won three KO tournaments with Lizards and then brought them into the main season, so they too were fed in from these outside tournaments.
Yeah, outside tournaments I think is the key, part of the key to just having multiple good teams being built up, so that way you can have your pick if one of them dies down.
It's one of the best ways to ramp up into the league. Yeah, I actually kind of hear what Valk's saying here. We have a lot of new players into the league. It might be a good idea to think about running some TV 1000 side comps to kickstart some players. I think that's what the last round robin was.
That's what the last round robin was exactly that. I tried to set it up.
Yep. So halflings with 600 inducements. Yeah, that's definitely a way to go.
Yeah. But I think I'm probably going to bring in a TV 1000-ish team into the round robin, so it wouldn't be too far off.
Yep. Well, you heard it here, everyone. Get yourselves into those side competitions. And any closing thoughts, Mr. Trueblue, for the recap?
Capone is better than Dillinger.
Dillinger for life. We'll see you next week, everyone.